Kendrick Lamar, one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, is dropping another album in 6 days, I think. It's supposed to be coming out on the 13th. I think that's next Friday. And it couldn't. Oh shit, that's Friday the 13th, bro.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I didn't catch that. Okay. Oh damn. All right. That makes it even crazier, man.
Yeah.
So here's my thing, man. I feel like there's 3 days that every black person should take off of work. And that's Martin Luther King, your birthday, and when Kendrick Lamar drops an album. Right? Because it's gonna take you that damn long, not even like a shift, like an 8-hour shift. It's gonna take you like 8 years to really break down a Kendrick Lamar album. You know what I mean, man? Because, excuse me, it took me ever to catch on to what is it, to pimp a butterfly, you know?
Yep.
And so now we're hearing with his new album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, it's supposed to be a double album. Right. So you're supposed to have one called Mr. Morale and the other called The Big Steppers. I don't think I have the brain space for a double album from Kendrick Lamar, bro. I don't think, no, you know what? I say brain space, bro. I don't think I have the intelligence for a Kendrick Lamar album like that, man. For a double album.
Right.
Goddamn. It's like, and now everybody is dropping recently and now I got to put everything off, because that's another thing. When Kendrick drops, you have to drop everything. It's not like a Drake album where you can like clean the house to, or a Lil Wayne album where,
like that, party too.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's some shit that you got to sit down, maybe go for a nice walk on the beach. Maybe you could sit down in a lawn chair or some shit, or you sit down and lay out in the grass. You got to take like 2 or 3 hours of your life to kind of listen to this and just let it all seep in.
Right.
And you know, when you listen to an album, there's so many other things that you got to factor in. You got to listen to the production. You got to listen to the boom bats, the tings and this and that of the production, so you won't miss out on, you know, what the story that the producer is trying to tell through the music without the lyrics, you know. And then you have to break down the lyrics and the type of person that Kendrick is. Bro, I don't know if I can do all of that. I don't think I can take a double album. All Eyes on Me, I think, is like the best double album of all time. Also, you have the White Album by the Beatles. You know, Jay tried to do it on Blueprint 2. I didn't really care for it that much. Nas tried to do it. I think it was it Street's Disciple? I can't remember the name of that album. The double album by Nas. That was just okay to me.
Yeah, I think it was Street Disciple. Yeah,
I think it was Street Disciple. Yeah. You know, every true rapper always tries to do like this double album thing, and Tupac was just the absolute best at it, and nobody else could really kind of mimic that feel, that authenticity. Because even listening to All Eyes on Me, it's an easy listen. It's an easy album to listen to. It's one of those albums that you can ride to. It's one of those albums that you can kind of take a walk to and everything like that. And that's just the type of artist that Tupac was, really, right? But like with Kendrick, man, it's gonna be so fucking much that you have to take in. Like, I don't know if you knew this, like he on the song, I think it was Freedom, the Beyonce song Freedom, that's on the Lemonade album, I think. Man, he just the way he fucking breaks down his whole like 16 bars on that is incredibly phenomenal. And it's not just the lyricism, it's how he does it, you know. So now you're talking about 2 albums. One is going to be about one thing, you know what I mean? And then the Big Steppers is, because you know he always comes like with like a gospel type album, and it's gonna be so weird, man. It's gonna be so weird, and I don't think I have the time for it. Like, nigga, I got a 3-year-old son. You know what I mean? I'm trying to raise him, and now you're telling me that I got to take this whole fucking album in. And then on Friday the 13th, when I'm just now getting it, it's gonna be so weird. The photo he also had a book in his hand. So maybe he's coming out with a book as well, something that he's written for it. So that seems kind of cool too. And the kind of person I am, like, I'm a huge Kendrick fan, like I'm a huge M fan, you know? Right. So I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to listen to it for ages and years to come. I've actually started listening to his whole discography recently, so I can get prepared for this album, you know? But how do you feel about it, man? I feel like I'm going on another rant or another tangent about it, but how do you feel about it? What do you think is going to be? What do you want it to be? What do you prepare for? How much time do you have to actually take down and listen to it? Like, what are your thoughts on everything?
So when it comes to this album, I'm not going to listen to it. So I'm creating my album. So no disrespect to K Dot. I've said that he is my favorite rapper. Or not my favorite rapper, but he is the number one rapper of all time in my top 5 list, because I feel like K Dot is every artist put into one. He's Busta Rhymes, Eminem, he's Redman, he's the entire Wu-Tang Clan, he's NWA, he's Nipsey Hussle. He has all of those elements within this one dude from Compton. So to me, I think he's number one out of everybody of all time. But I'm not listening to this fucking album until I get done with my shit, because I don't want to get any influence from him, because as me having so much respect for him, not just musically, but bar wise and the way that he put together songs and concepts, I don't want anybody to confuse that I'm stealing his swag or his fucking shit, because I never want that to happen. I'm my own motherfucking artist, right? K-Dot's his own artist. And, you know, we all like kind of tweak and get a little bit from each other, but I'm not listening to the shit. That's the first thing. Second thing is, if I can get 2 albums full of K Dot, since he is so inactive, I'm gonna take it. And I know that he is the type of person that he wants you to sit with some shit. He don't want you to just consume it like we consume everything within like 30-second sound bites. He wants you to listen to the shit. If you want to listen to something like that's really simple and you can like piecemeal it, you can listen to Future's new album that just came out. You know what I'm saying? Banging ass beats, whoop de whoop de whoop. You can listen to it driving down the road, boom. But K Dot, you need to really like sit with him, and I feel like you can do that over the span of 6 months, how we used to listen to music. Because you used to sit the fuck there and be able to listen to an album forever and be like, yo, like I'm still like listening to like this Blueprint, like I'm still listening to this motherfucking Illmatic or this Stillmatic, or I'm still listening to 36 Chambers, or I'm still listening to CNN's War Report. Like I'm still sitting with this shit, like you playing this shit all the time. So I feel like you could do that with K Dot, and if he's giving you 2 albums and a book, man, that's just like, I don't really, once I get done with my shit, then I can sit and listen to him, and that's all I need. Maybe if J. Cole drop again, boom. But I don't need to listen to nobody else. And I feel like he hasn't made an album in years. So he probably has that much work, and he probably wants to get it all out so TDE doesn't have no more records of his since he's leaving TDE. And so I feel like that motherfucker,
I really wish that you would kind of change your mindset on that. I totally understand why you don't listen while you're making your own album. I don't know how far along you are on your album or how much longer you're gonna have to create, but you're missing out. Like you're missing out on Pusha T, and actually Jack Harlow album ain't really that bad. I was listening to it this morning. I'm like, this shit is kind of cool. It's real.
Jack Harlow can spit, so I assume that he would have like a good album. When I get done with like my shit, I can sit there and listen to everybody's stuff, and I do that, and it's not that hard. Like, but K-Dot, I know he makes very complex albums, so it's not really that hard. But I just took that stance because I'm the type of person that I could listen to something and I can like my flow and cadence, I will start to catch what they're doing, and I'll be like, man, that shit is dope. And then next thing I know, I have a song that sounds like that, and I fucking hate that shit. I hate that shit. Like, so no, I don't want to do that shit. And I know that music ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna fucking forget. I'll never forget about Pusha T, and I damn sure ain't gonna forget about K-Dot, because K-Dot is the GOAT. So, you know, hey, you miss a playoff game or some shit like that, you miss a football game, you go watch the highlights. I feel like it's the exact same thing, my G. The same fucking thing.
So what are you kind of what are you kind of expecting from this album? Whenever you do listen to it, like in your mind, when you hear Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, like what do you expect to hear from it?
I feel like I'm gonna hear like him battling with both sides of himself. So from where he's from, and him wanting to make like more gangster music and things of that nature, because that's probably what he grew up listening to, right? And then like how his homies influenced that, and like how they probably deal with problems because him being from Compton and just having just friends, no matter where you're from, having friends and family and shit like that. Like you feel like you need to go ahead and step to motherfuckers when that shit happens. But then also the Mr. Morale side is like, people consider K-Dot to be a very conscious brother. So if he does fuck somebody up, they're gonna look at him like, what the fuck is he doing? And it's like that, it's that constant battle of being a black man as well, right? Where like, if you have any little success or you have a good job, everyone tells you don't fuck it up with the streets. Don't let the streets trip you. Don't let the streets get you. You know what I mean? But we all have family that's still in the streets. We all have family that's out there. So what you gonna do? Totally avoid them forever? No,
Mhm.
we have that balance because most of us come from single family homes or from fucked up homes or drug infested, alcohol infested homes. So we're always battling that, like, yo, do I want to be in the streets or do I want to be just a stand up citizen? Hammond said it best. I had to choose from being family man or boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? He said I had to pick one. That's exactly what I think this album is about. Him battling with those issues. And he's still battling with it, even though he's a multi-millionaire, platinum selling artist. He still deals with those problems. So that's what I think the album's about. What do you think the album's about?
I wanted something a little different than that because I feel like that's what Damn was. You know, he was speaking a lot about it in To Pimp a Butterfly, how he, you know, it's hard for him to leave the streets or he gets back to the streets, and people don't necessarily put him in drama or in danger. They try to keep him away from that because they know how important he is to Compton and to hip hop, you know. But he still has those demons, his own, I guess, self-created demons inside of him that he still wants to speak about. I feel like he did a lot of that on To Pimp a Butterfly, and now I want to sound rude or ugly, but I kind of feel like it should be left at that. You know what I mean? Because you're just going to speak more on it. If Mr. Morale is going to be kind of in that same vein, it's going to be kind of the same thing, you know. But I'm more than sure he has more stories to tell. I'm more than sure that he has more things that has happened to him that he has to get off of his chest. I remember in To Pimp a Butterfly, he was speaking about how, you know, he left the city to go on tour and to become as big a rapper as he is now, and he comes back and his 16-year-old sister is pregnant, and he's like, oh shit, like maybe if I were here I could have stopped that, you know. And I know it's shit like that eats up inside of him, and he's such an open person that he tells everybody his whole life story, but you have to decipher it in a way, in a sense, you know what I mean. And then you had Damn. I personally believe like Damn was like a story of life, you know. And that's why, you know, I don't know if you heard that rumor of Damn was about, if you listen to it forwards and backwards, it's kind of the same story, you know what I mean. I feel like listening to it from beginning to end is life and death, and I feel like listening to it from the end to the beginning is, I guess, life after death, kind of, you know. But I feel like the album in a whole was more so about life, you know, and the things that you're going to be going through in life. And I believe this for me is why he called the album Damn, because shit, what's the one word that you say all throughout life? You open up a bill and you're like, damn. You know, you get a call, your girl say, I want to talk to you about something. You like, damn. You know, like all the life is just one big damn. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, man, I kind of see where you're coming from, and more so it may be about that, about how he's handling his paper, how he's handling the fame, how he's handling being in the fucking Super Bowl. You know what I mean? With Dr. Dre and Eminem and Snoop. Like, bro, you next up. You in there with them, man. Like, how am I supposed to handle this and stay on for Compton and keep a level head and like stop, you know, keep my mom, my dad, and my family cool? Like, this shit is toppling on top of him, you know, and the only way he could do it is get this shit out of his heart and onto record, man.
I think he's already done that, right? But I'm thinking this is gonna be more like an album about, like, you know, universally, like all of us. So it's more like not just from his perspective, but from like the world's perspective. But I don't know. It might just be 8 tracks. It might be 10. It might be 12. I kind of don't give a fuck. I don't think that he can make a bad album. Everyone can, right? If you in a certain circumstance, and he is leaving TDE. That's the only thing that kind of scares me, is like, yo, he's leaving TDE. So it's just like, that has been like the staple of like conscious, dope hip hop for a long time. 10 years plus. So the fact that that's changing like that and shit like that, man, that's just weird. So we're gonna see. I want to get to the comments though, because I'm kind of like, first of all, to everyone that's on here, Chi said it first. Happy Mother's Day, man. Like for real, to all the mothers, to homage to your wife, you know what I'm saying? I don't have any kids yet, but, you know, to my mom, to my sisters, to everyone that has children, man, happy Mother's Day, for real. Yeah. And thank y'all. You know,
being a mother is an extraordinarily tough job, man. I've seen my mother do it. I've seen, you know, all my friends' moms do it, you know, and I know it's the toughest job in the world, and being a black mother is even tougher, bro. Like, you can't even put into words how tough it is being a black woman in America, let alone having to raise like a little black boy or a little black girl in this country and letting them know that they can be whatever they want to be, but still seeing like the atrocities that's happening to us, you know. And you got to send your kid out there every single day and hope that they come back safe. So like being a mother is a tough job, and I just want to salute and thank all the mothers out there. Y'all please continue to keep your head up. I know the world isn't the greatest place to be, but you know, I know that me and Phil is going to continue to try to be as positive black male role models as we can, you know, for the youth. So we don't want you to think that you're alone. We don't want y'all to think that you're doing this on your own, because you're not. We're out here too. There's a lot of black men out here that's looking out for each other, man. And I know that some kids out here are wilding and going crazy and want to do what they want to do, but y'all are still beautiful. Y'all are still doing your thing, and all y'all can do is continue to do that. If you're a godly person, continue to pray. You know, if you're spiritual in any kind of way, just pray to the universe or whatever the case is for the kids, and then we'll continue to do the same thing for you. But for all the mothers, thank you, and we love y'all out there.
Word. So Edgy said that Jack's album sounded too much like Drake to me, completely different from his last album. I rank it, I gotta listen to it again. Now Future
I like it. I like it.
She said now Future's album gives me ATL vibes. Miss it. Word.
Nah, hold on one second. Okay. I want to speak on that Future album. I've never been able to get through a whole Future album. Like something in me, I get through like always like 3 or 4 songs deep, and I'm like, turn this shit off. Turn it off. My brain is like, what the fuck are you doing to yourself, Wayne? Turn this shit off. And I have to turn it off. It's not for me. And I did the same thing with this album. I listened to the Kanye song, right? And then I forget the song, but Young Thug is on there. And then I'm just like, I can't do it. And that's what every album that Future has dropped, I tried to listen to, and I'm like, no, I tried, man. I got my songs. I love March Madness. I like Fuck Up Some Commas. I like, a lot of tracks, but I just can't get down with a full album from Future, bro. It's just not for me. But y'all go off, man. Y'all do that. And Jack Harlow's album was pretty dope to me, man. I really didn't study his first album like that, but I can understand what people say, like he's like a white Drake, and I get that, but I still think it's a real cool, real smooth album, man. It's real dope.
All right. So Hamid said Twitter not feeling Jack no more. Yeah. And I feel like, that's what happens, man, when you become a superstar, and like you grind and you grind and you grind and you grind. You see it all the time where it's like these artists, man, they get to that point where it's like, now he on TV, now he on, he had the NBA playoffs, watching motherfuckers play, and people are starting to notice him, and he's going to be in a movie and shit like that. So now he's in LA, and it's like, yo, like, that's a lot going on. Like, now you're a corporate entity. Yeah. And we was talking about this, like, kind of like yesterday, when we was talking about like the podcast world, when we did the tavern with all like with Ghosts and Third Eye podcast and the Big Dumb podcast and Cosmic Peach podcast, when we were talking with them yesterday. And you can subscribe to the Third Eye podcast and all those podcasts, the Big Dummy podcast and the Cosmic Peach podcast. Subscribe to those folks because they, cool. But anyway, when we was talking about that, they're good people. When we was talking about that yesterday, man, they was just like, they have their own beef in their own podcast world, and people become like the gatekeepers. Now, Jack Harlow is one of those motherfuckers. Even though he's new, he's a white guy that can rap, that looks like, just a regular old dude, but he got bars. That shit is very marketable. You can do a lot with that boy. A lot. So imagine that, man. Imagine having that. So of course your music might suffer if you're not in that realm, in that space. And I think that's why K-Dot's like the best, because he really don't do a lot of that corporate shit like that. He do a little bit, but not much. Most of his focus is on his music and his other little art endeavors. But I don't know. I do not know. What's
real quick, Phyllis, real quick, double check your stereo. Make sure that your sound is on.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, cool. Go ahead with the what the other comments say then, bro.
So Edgy said all his albums is one album. Yeah, and that's the thing, Wayne. Like, I think that it's more along the lines of like you trying to listen to his album by just listening to it. Me, I think it's more like something that you experience, right?
Talking about Future?
Yeah. So if you don't like have like that basic understanding of kind of like what he's talking about, or have seen it before, or like that's like something that like intrigues you, then yeah, you would listen to his shit and be like, this is garbage, and it just goes over your head and you like, this is trash, and just like, I understand where you're coming from. But if you like was a person like myself, I guess Edgy, Edgy definitely was too, like, kind of like club rats for a long time, or like outside like that, and doing like the drugs and shit, and like wearing all the chains, and like just being in that environment, and like really experiencing like that gritty ass part of like Atlanta, and seeing all that shit, and like being in the bluffs, and being like, we lived in East Point, and like living like in the basically the fucking trap. You got bloods outside, gambling in front of your apartment, like shit like that. You know what I mean? Seeing shootouts and shit like that, getting in fights and shit like that. All of that shit is what Future kind of talks about. He talks about all of that, and it relates to us because that's like what we were listening to when we first got down to Atlanta. And I mean, that's that connection of like, okay, I experienced some of what he's talking about, right, and observed the rest of it. So when I hear it, it's just like, yo, I can relate with this, and it's like the music of the city, of like the real city of Atlanta. So that's why I think like we like, yo, we fucks with this shit heavy. Gotcha. And he's not like, of course he's not the best rapper, all of that shit, but like just in terms of just like music wise, and like him having music that you could just blast out to and just ride out to and do whatever the fuck you want to do to and play in the club. I don't think a lot of people fuck with like the Baby, Lil Baby, Future like that. All them motherfuckers, they're really good at that shit. They're really, really good. But it's something that you just have to experience to be able to appreciate it. So that's just my personal opinion. So also Hamid said Bland Boy 3 is coming out 7/29/2022. So yeah, we want to talk about that, bro. And yeah, when that album come out, man, we're gonna do something special for like the live stream and all that type of shit. So yeah, bro, we're gonna do all of that. So we'll be talking about that. Thank you for letting us know, because you're giving us a hell of a lot of time to prepare, so that's even better. So
when are you Fearless, when are you have you set a release date for your album yet, or how close are you to being finished?
I haven't set a release date for my shit yet, because I don't know if I'm going to. I don't know. It's been like that transition period where I'm just like, is it better for me to spend all the money on just promoting singular songs and trying to get like a song on like, like these different platforms and like connect with these artists? Or is it better just to drop a whole album that I have to promote the whole fucking thing? So I'm looking at it from like, what is the best way to do it? Because the album's basically done. Dexter is starting to do all the mix down and shit like that, and I'm just sending it out. So the recording is done. I just need features and shit like that, and just get the features done. So I just feel like, man, I don't know. I'm like, if I drop a whole album, that's fine, but like, I can really promote like each song independently as well. And that's a lot of money, like to do like a real video and shit like that, and do like real promotions and throw like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 behind a song and really promote it to get it out there, So I'm just dealing with that in my mind and exactly what I want to do. So I don't think I got one, man.
Okay. All right.
I don't think I got one yet, but we're gonna see, man. But it's not gonna be 7/29. I'll tell you that. I'm gonna go ahead and sit back, listen to Hamid's album, enjoy it, love it. Yeah, it's gonna be real good. So